Hey there, Christ United. Listen, obviously you can tell by what I got on, and if you looked outside, which you can't see, it's cold, and we're not having midweek Bible study here at the church. So stay warm, stay safe. But I want to take just a couple minutes and share a couple thoughts with you because we've got such a great start, some momentum going at Christ United with our theme, Impossible Odds, setting the stage for amazing miracles. And I want to share with you what we would have been teaching on tonight, which means I'll have to study again for next Wednesday, right? But maybe some of the stuff that our small groups are going through that as we, as a church over the next few weeks, continue to sit on that truth. We don't want to provoke you to like go out and create impossible odds in your life and then try to watch God perform. We talked about that Sunday, but I shared with our staff team on Monday this really cool story, and I'm looking at my notes here. I want to share with you, and it's a takeoff kind of the story of Benaiah, who was chasing a lion and fell down in a pit, right? But he didn't fall in the pit; he jumped into a pit. It's really the story of four guys in 2 Kings 7 who find themselves in an impossible situation. Here's the deal. Israel is in a mess. They are besieged. They are surrounded by the Syrian army, and there's a famine in the land. In fact, that's how warfare was conducted a lot back in the day. It wasn't about the bombs and bullets, but sometimes they would starve them out. And so literally Jerusalem was tied up, tighter than a drum, and there were some horrible things happening in that city. As they were trying to eat, they were eating things that they shouldn't be eating. In fact, 2 Samuel 6 or 2 Kings 6 says that you could buy a donkey's head or a cup of bird poop. That's what they called it, for a certain amount. That's how bad things were. They were eating those things. But anyways, God speaks prophetically through the prophet Elisha in 2 Kings 7:1. You should read that. And here's what he says. He says, "Hear the word of the Lord. Thus says the Lord, tomorrow about this time, about 2 gallons of fine flour will be sold for a shekel, and about 4 gallons of barley would be sold again for a shekel, which is about $10 in silver." And there's a guy there who happens to be part of the king's staff, and he says, no way, that's not going to happen. In fact, he says this: "Look, if the Lord would make the heavens open and the windows in heaven open, could this thing be?" And the prophet says, "Oh, in fact, this thing will happen, but you won't get to see it and you won't get to eat from it." And so you read that, you're like, okay, so things look terrible, impossible odds. And God says he's going to do something, but here's this guy, if he has faith in God or not, we don't know, but he says there's no way. And the prophet says, okay, it's going to happen. You're not going to see it. And that's not a judgment. It's just an observation. So if you read the story, and I won't today, but I encourage you to do, so stay in track with talking about impossible odds, setting the stage for amazing miracles. We see later that there's these 4 guys who are lepers who have been living outside of the camp of Israel because they're unclean, because the Israelites won't let them in because their leprosy was a sign of sinfulness, at least in that culture. They thought it was. They believed it to be, and so they were outside. And these 4 lepers, let me read. I'm reading 2 Kings 7, verses 3 and 4. There were 4 leprous men at the entrance of the gate, and they said one to another, "Why are we sitting here until we die? If we say we'll enter the city, the famine's in the city, and we're all going to die there. If we sit here, we die also. Now, therefore, come, let us surrender to the army of the Syrians. If they keep us alive, we shall live. And if they kill us, we shall only die." And it's kind of crazy. What they're saying is, we're in a bad way. This is an impossible situation. We're going to die. But let's at least try and see if possibly something will happen. Well, as they get up and they begin walking towards the camp of the enemy, 2 Kings 7, verse 5 says, they arose at twilight. And I just want to encourage you, isn't it always at our darkest where we can kind of see, even though we can't see? I can't believe I did that with the quote things, but see when you can't see. They got up and they went to the camp of the Syrians. The natural urge would be to just sit there and we can't do anything. But remember, Jesus said, with man, things are impossible. With God, all things are possible. And so they get up and they go into the enemy's camp. And God takes the sound of 4 lepers coming into their camp and magnifies it so it sounds like the host of thousands coming, and the Syrians flee. And the lepers go in and they're eating and they're drinking and they're just, the famine's broke for them. And one of them says, hey, this isn't good. We should share with others. So they send someone back into the city and tell them, hey, we got this. And they don't believe them. And anyways, you read the story, they all live happily ever after. They all do, except for the guy who said, there's no way that's going to happen. And I'm not going to give you the plot line, what happened. You need to read that, 2 Kings chapter 7. Could you read that for your personal devotion this week as we talk about how impossible odds help sets the stage for amazing miracles? You'll be surprised. But what you'll be surprised is that 4 leprous men who were broken enough, humble enough to consider God maybe might want to do something. And they did. But the one guy who was in the king's court who said, there's no way God can do it. And by the way, God still did it, but he didn't get to see it. So I'm not going to ask you which one are you, because I can see myself in both sides of those stories. But read through that and stay encouraged this week while you stay warm and don't come out tonight. And we'll see you this coming Sunday at 10 o'clock as we enter into the second week of our series, Impossible Odds Help Set the Stage for Amazing Miracles. Thanks. God bless.